we in Zimbabwe, we are always looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And we starve some of these opportunities. And whenever we find these opportunities, we make sure that we utilize.
Yeah.
And also, this is where the diversity comes in. That need to be different and unique in whatever it is that one would have chosen to do.
Because I don't know if you have realized that some of the things that here in Zimbabwe we consider taboo, you just cross the border, they are nothing, zero. And I believe it unlocks a certain level of creativity. You can play around with a lot of scenarios. Now what you consider taboo, you realize it's nothing there.
And I think also because the idea we're talking like this,
yeah.
I mean Swaziland, Zimbabwe, what we're trying to do is also encourage this sort of intercontinental collabs.
Yeah.
So we feed into each other's spaces. So yeah, big up to Sia for linking.
Yeah. Shout out the silent writer. Yeah.
So that's the vibe. I mean,
exactly.
We can always create this excitement as long as we share ideas, we create spaces where we get into.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I've noticed that most industries have found ways to monetize other products through the platform that the industry creates. I can give you an example of football. They don't only make money from ticket sales. They make money from partnership with different brands. They, adverts, modeling, movies, many things. That's why we have, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo is like a millionaire because he's not waiting for ticket sales, and which is something that's us creatives, we usually want ticket sales. So, I try with people that I come in contact with, like, guys, let's find ways, ways we can generate revenue from. Welcome to the next thing that's gonna blow up. Thank you very much for tuning again for another fire episode. Today is a very special day. We are in Zimbabwe, people. We're recording down in Zimbabwe, my home country, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button, like and share. And like I said, it's a special day. I mean, I came all the way from Swaziland to meet this genius sitting next to me to record. So guys, you have to appreciate, by just hitting the like button. But anyway, without further ado, let my brother introduce himself. Brother, man.
How are you doing, mate?
No, I'm doing great, brother.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. No, it's been amazing. To just imagine how we have met, like, I think 2 days ago.
Exactly. That's the beauty of technology.
Yeah, exactly.
It's instant,
Yeah. It's really crazy. But yeah, before we start our conversation, you could just introduce yourself to the audience.
So yeah, my name is Khumbulani Muleya. I am a multi-platform creative. I particularly interested in literature activities as well as music. So I curate literature activities and music. I've got various vehicles that I use to do that. I am the founder and coordinator of a literary art initiative called Gourd of Consciousness Poetry. We've been running this for the past 6 years.
All right.
Right. So this is a platform where we give local writers and poets an opportunity to express themselves, by consistently jogging their creative writing skills.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm also a curator for Sofar Sounds representing Harare.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really dope. Yeah, but particularly the name. That's the first thing that really struck me when I saw your profile, and it's God, right?
It's God, as in Gourd.
Okay, where does it come from?
Well, looking at the gourd, the actual gourd, it's a multi-purpose a tool. It's a multi-purpose tool, and when we look at the direction that we want to take with the literary aspect, we notice that the gourd is very symbolic in that it can be used to put together a concoction, a variety of whatever it is that you want to put up or mix up there. So we decided to put this together with literature in mind.
All right.
So it's a gourd, and in that gourd we have literary people. We've got poets, we've got writers. So it's this whole cauldron of creatives and the like.
All right, it's quite interesting. Back in Swaziland, in the creative industry, in the community, it's a norm that, I can say it's a norm that most artists are starving. Like, making money is very difficult. But then coming with your organization, how do you really help creatives make money? Yeah, or do you even have that in your God? You have creatives and all those, but the making money aspect of it.
Well, the making money aspect of things is a bit challenging.
Yeah.
Currently, what we're just doing is offering poets opportunities that they in turn can convert into monetary value.
Okay.
So, say for example, we have got a platform on WhatsApp, which is a gathering of poets and writers. So what we do is these people in this platform, we try to improve, their writing skills by way of ideation.
All right.
So this is a platform where they can comment, critique each other's works, and once that is done, we then select those poems that would have been thoroughly processed through
like peer review.
Yeah. We then publish those poems on mainstream print and electronic media. So these are sort of like it's the value chain that if poets are aware of, they can then convert that into some sort of monetary value. Yeah, but currently there is really no money in our industry.
Yeah.
There is really no money, but people are being innovative with their talents. They are finding ways and means to get that money coming in somehow. So we're just glad that we're able to offer a platform where our creatives can tap into however they feel.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I've noticed that most industries have found ways to monetize other products through the platform that the industry creates. I can give you an example of football. They don't only make money from ticket sales. They make money from partnership with different brands. They, adverts, modeling, movies, many things. That's why we have, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo is like a millionaire because he's not waiting for ticket sales, and which is something that's us creatives, we usually want ticket sales. So, I try with people that I come in contact with, like, guys, let's find ways, the ways we can generate revenue from, we call it, monetizing the platform that your talent builds for you, you see. So you might have 100 followers. The things maybe sell something to them. I don't know, t-shirts, merchandise. Snoop Dogg does it. I don't know if you've noticed.
No.
Have you checked Snoop Dogg Instagram?
No, shit.
It's crazy because he does not even post things about him. He posts memes.
All right.
Yeah, he posts memes on it. But his audience is big. So if he's dropping, what do they call this? NFTs. Imagine he's got like, I don't know how many followers. Let's say, for example, he's got 40 million eyes on his NFT.
Yeah.
You see, that's another way to monetize that I feel like most creatives are not using. I don't know how you feel like with the creatives that you're working with.
Yeah, it's been a long time, since we've been trying to, get our creatives to realize these opportunities. We are now living in a digital era, and there are so many potential collaborations that creatives can go through.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really, there's really no boundaries in this digital age. We've got a lot to explore, and I feel that maybe eventually with time, we will then be able to gain that traction where poets or writers or creatives in general are able to, realize the value of, being in this digital space. Gone are the days when, like, for example, the reason why I started this initiative is to sort of like, dismantle, or rather, break or bust that myth that says you have to be famous to have your poem or short story published in the electronic or print media space. So I managed to do that, and I saw that it actually worked. So there's so much value in getting published. It can actually, it can give you good referrals. Some of these global publishers, they want to know what you have done before. Have you been published?
Exactly.
Before? So that on its own is something that has a lot of value. But it kind of taking, well, I'll speak from the local perspective. It's kind of taking a bit of time for people to catch on to that. Like, speak of 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't really easy to get, visibility in the paper. But we broke that myth somehow. And now, whether you are unknown or whether you are famous, we are also just making sure that you also share the same platform, And we've got quite a number of platforms that we hope that, our creatives can catch up on to. And utilize, in order for us also to just create, because some other thing that I think is important is to be able to create an ecosystem that then will help our creatives feed onto,
that's powerful. You mentioned earlier that you don't need to be famous to make money. It reminded me of Conscience the MC. Okay, there's Conscience the Jamaican rapper, then there's Conscience is an American rapper. He came to Eswatini. Shout out Conscience if you're watching. But you definitely have to check him out if you're a creative out there. So what he does is he has created an edu-entertainment kind of system where he goes all over the world teaching art. It could be writing, how to monetize, all those kind of things. And he doesn't really have like a big following even on his social media. But he's making money because he has created, like you're saying, a whole ecosystem that can support his art without him. And I'm sure when he blows up, he's going to blow up because imagine all the people that he has taught all over the world. And he works with the American embassy, imagine. So he goes to different embassies, teaching music and all that. All those are his fans now. Because I follow him. Probably all the people in Swaziland now that met him, they follow him. You see, those are some of the ways that I believe you can use as a creative to make money. But yeah, that's quite interesting. But my question is, what you're doing, how do you think it's sustainable? Because there's a lot of back home in Swaziland. It's funny, I'm saying home in Swaziland.
Africa.
Yeah, but in Swaziland, there are so many people that are doing a lot of things, workshops, but a lot of creatives complain that, this is like a one-time thing and then that's it. People go. And people, I don't know if you guys have the same problem here. We discuss the same things over and over and over, but nobody does nothing. That's where my problem is. We can attend 10 workshops. I'm guarantee you, we are going to talk about, there's no money in music. Go to South Africa if you want to make money. We come back to another workshop.
Same story.
It's the same story. I don't know if you have the same problem here.
Well, there's diversity in these, expressions in our creative space. What I'm seeing currently with our local, creative space is there's gradual progress in the right direction. We in Zimbabwe, we are always looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And we starve some of these opportunities. And whenever we find these opportunities, we make sure that we utilize.
Yeah.
And also, this is where the diversity comes in. That need to be different and unique. in whatever it is that one would have chosen to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, with what I do with poetry, we've got a variety of platforms. So the idea really is to make sure that we cater for different angles of expression in the literary space. We have platforms for spoken word poetry.
Yeah.
I have a couple of shows, and one of them is dedicated to spoken word poetry.
All right.
To giving our local poets opportunities to express themselves. I also have another platform that is specifically dedicated to adult literature.
Okay.
We invite writers, poets onto the platform, and we talk about their subject matter, and we talk about industry issues, we talk about their creative process, and we get them to read or recite their work. So we're just trying to make sure that there are different angles of people being able to express themselves. And I think basically in Zim we are always looking out for the next new thing, and of course there is always, as you are saying, there's always this situation where there is a repetition of this and that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the vibe is there that really sets some of these things apart.
Yeah, and I think you have an advantage of a market as well. Your market is big. I mean, Swaziland, we are like 1.2 million. So if you're a poet, maybe your market will zero it down to maybe like 1,000 people.
And I think also, like, because the idea, like, we're talking like this, I mean, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, what we're trying to do is also encourage this sort of like intercontinental collabos.
Yeah.
So we feed into each other's spaces. So big up to Sia for linking us up.
Shout out the silent writer. Yeah.
So that's the vibe. I mean,
exactly.
We can always create this excitement as long as we share ideas, we create spaces where we get into each other's spaces.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting. Like the way we met, actually, it's something that's, I feel like a lot of people should explore. But in your own experience, how has it been like working with international collaborations? People that are not from the country. Have you ever worked with them before, and how has it been for you, working with those people?
I do work with people from outside Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So within this poetry initiative that I'm running, I also have a corner that is specifically dedicated to publishing poets that are from other African countries.
Okay.
So that one has been great. Like I said, I have got something like 5 platforms.
All right.
In the electronic and print media space here in Zimbabwe. I talk about the Zimbabwe Independent, Newsday Zimbabwe, the Standard, Heart and Soul Radio, where we are right now. And Newshawks is another platform that I use to publish poems. We actually have dedicated columns.
All right.
That we then publish these poets. So I've been working quite a lot with other creatives from outside Zimbabwe, and it has been really a brilliant experience.
Yeah, how the cultural difference, does it bring like a form of barrier or like,
not at all?
Yeah,
not at all. Like with poetry, poetry literature is global. So you always find a way to
to merge.
To merge and interweave your creative processes, and it's always pleasurable. Really, it's always pleasurable. I've had conversations on my show with brothers from South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, you name it. And it's been like a real experience.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I've lived in how many countries now? I've lived in 3 countries, but I've traveled like pretty much more southern African countries. And what I've realized, through the journey is I've developed a sort of what should I call it? Like a multi-cultural identity, where I can blend in everywhere I go.
You go.
Yeah, like in Swaziland, you know, I can chill with the guys. They are my people. I moved to Malawi. They are my people. SA, like that. And I believe, you know, as a creative, it's something that you have to really explore. You know, working with different cultures, it will help even in your writing. I feel like you will start appreciating, because I don't know if you have realized that, you know, some of the things that here in Zimbabwe we consider taboo, you just cross the border, they are nothing, zero. And I believe, you know, it unlocks a certain level of creativity. You know, you can play around with a lot of scenarios. Now, what you consider taboo, you realize, nah, it's nothing there. And then, yeah, but have you ever tried to, are you a poet?
Yeah, I'm a poet, though I no longer actively write. You know,
right.
like I said, when I started, I started as a poet.
All
I
right.
started with a very, very passionate about poetry. That is why I pursued, you know, this initiative, Gourd of Consciouness Poetry.
Okay.
Because I started off from that
From
that level. So I started off writing poems,
All right.
writing music. But then when I started coordinating this initiative, it then began taking much of my time in such a way that I could not really, you know, focus on writing, because there then began to be a lot of things happening. But I do write when I feel like, because what I may say I'm actively involved in, because I'm also a journalist.
All right.
Yeah, I write stories, arts and entertainment, and community news.
All right.
So my focus now is more on journalism work.
All right.
But yeah, you know, once a poet, always a poet. Yeah.
I see. But there, I'll be wondering, like, what motivated the transition from the active writing of poetry to now coordinating poets? What was the motive behind? Was it, you know, something that you, from childhood, you always wanted, you know, like, you know, or it's something that came as a necessity, like, yeah,
well,
I got it.
It's something that then came gradually. You know, I've always, you know, wanted to play a role in the community, one way or the other. I've always wanted to impact the community that I am in. So I also just realized that, you know, there is a need to create space for poets, because that was not present in Zim.
Yeah.
We didn't have that space in the papers, you know. We didn't have that space in the papers where you find poems flooding.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I you know, I can change.
Oh, you have poems coming in the newspaper here?
Yeah. Through the platforms that I'm talking about. Through Gourd of Consciouness Poetry. We now have poems flooding. The print and electronic spaces, and something that we've been, I think I should say I'm really happy about.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I feel like, yo, people, if you're listening from Swaziland, please put poets in the newspaper like that. I feel like, but how has it been the reception, you know?
It's been amazing.
Yeah?
It's been amazing. A lot has changed in so many ways for these individual poets. You know, they are now, a lot of them are now inspired to continue writing.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that I do is I curate poetry competitions.
All right.
So something like 3 years ago, I put together this concept, you know, collected some books. It was during COVID, the earliest days of COVID-19, when poets could not even, you know, be active.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm always thinking about things. And I was like, look, how best can we jog, you know, the creative processes, the creative skills of our poets during lockdown, you know? And I was like, okay, minimum movement, but people can write in their spaces. And when I looked at the situation, I was like, you know, there's pretty much a lot of time for people to dedicate to writing.
Yeah, exactly.
There are no excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
So we launched that one, and it took off. I collected books, and we used those books to give out as prizes to those poets who would have then be, you know, selected as winners. So 3 winners.
All right.
So we then, the books that I collected are written by local writers. So the idea is to have this exchange of, you know, you're a writer, you're a poet, okay, you can read someone else's work. And we're trying to create that ecosystem that I'm talking about, where writers and poets read each other's works. So I think it's very important So that one is also something that has really boosted the morale and the confidence of our poets to keep them, going on and on. The excitement is amazing. Really.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm already envisioning it, in my head. We go into Swaziland and we are implementing it.
Exactly. And look, like I said, we've got a platform dedicated to other poets from outside of Zimbabwe.
All right.
So it's a deliberate attempt to enhance the intercontinental collabs that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
From wherever you are from, even outside of the continent, there is a platform that is dedicated to poets from outside of Zimbabwe.
Oh, quite interesting. But the other thing, I think it's your passion for music, because I realize you're also a Sofar Sounds curator, you said? Yeah, I love Sofar Sounds. I listen to Manny Walters. Please go check him out. He's from Sofar Sounds, Joburg. I don't know if you have checked him out. The nigga is talented like crazy. But yeah, how's your Sofar Sounds here going?
Yeah, so I curated my first concert last year in December. It was amazing. Yeah, baby steps. And then I recently had my second show, second concert on this past Saturday.
Oh.
Yes. It was amazing as well, because as you are aware, the Sofar concept is a unique one.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I am having a lot of fun putting these shows together. Maybe it's because of the love for the music and the love of trying to build communities, discover new voices, new artists, discover new spaces within the city. It's really exciting. It's exciting times, really, in Harare.
I'm a TEDx licensee in Swaziland.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand the stress that comes with curating something as Sofar Sounds.
You can say that again.
Yeah, but how has it been for you, curating the show, looking for artists, looking for sponsors to partner with?
That's the crazy part.
Oh, that's the crazy part.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? When you have a passion, it's like a fuel that then carries you forward.
Yeah.
When you love something, you don't really get tired easily.
Yeah.
So I must say, maybe because of that passion, I've been able to have the energy to,
run around,
keep a resistance, and run around, because I'm always in the space, in the music space. So looking for musicians, I always do it every time, wherever I am. So I always am able to be on the lookout for good sound.
Yeah.
So that one is not much of a hassle, because also the musicians, the artists can also directly apply on the Sofar platform. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and well, the concept is still new in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Pretty new. So I'm still just trying to sell the idea and just get people to see how how valuable it can be.
It's a very unique concept. It's really, really dope. We actually wanted to do a similar kind of a show in Swaziland. We wanted to call it Magamba Sessions. We wanted to celebrate African heroes. So it was gonna be fire, but yeah, it will come. It will come. But yeah, it's been fire talking to you. I don't know if you have any questions for me before we tell our audience our goodbyes.
Well, what I can say is, like I said, we've got platforms. We've got platforms here in Zim. If you're a poet, you want to feature, you want to get published in the print and electronic media space right here in Zimbabwe, you can get in touch with me.
All right, yeah.
You can email me on the following email, which is khumbulani@heartandsoul.co.zw. So Khumbulani is KHUMBULANI @heartandsoul.co.zw. Or you can send me a WhatsApp on the following number, +263 715 450146. And
or even poets that are not from the
yes
from Swaziland. Sorry, from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Please, people, you hear the numbers.
Yes.
Social media, are you available? Social media?
I'm on social media. Facebook, it's Khumbulani Muleya. On Twitter, it's Khumbulani Muleya. It's Khumbu Muleya, sorry. On Instagram, I am Khumbulani Bandula. You can check out also Sofar Sounds media pages, Sofar Sounds across all the platforms.
All right, most definitely. I'll also link in the description, like I'll put the links. But man, it's been fire talking to you. I really enjoyed this conversation. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure people in Swaziland are gonna listen. You know, I'm also having an audience in Malawi. I have to travel to Malawi for another shoot. You know,
wow.
It's gonna be fire.
It's an adventure you're having, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. And people, remember to subscribe for more fire apps. So thank you very much. And from us, peace. We're out.